All right, things are getting very real very quickly. I'm going to play a video here for you of a Florida roofing company owner, Vincent Scardina, who voted for Trump, supported the immigration crackdowns as he understood them, and he is now in tears on camera because ICE just detained a third of his staff. The men are Nicaraguan, no criminal record, valid work permits, asylum claims pending. They've done everything right. But that didn't stop ICE. Why? Because Stephen Miller told ICE to go scorched earth and deport as many people as possible, no matter the context. Trump said, oh, we're going to be going after the hardened criminals. But they're just doing raids across the country, Home Depots of just people looking for honest work. And here is Scardina stunned that the monster he voted into power is now coming for his employees. Look at this.
You've lived in Key West for how long?
44 years.
Vincent Scardina is the owner of the roofing company where they worked. He's owned it 37 years.
It's going to be really hard to replace those guys.
Says losing these 6 men is losing a third of his workers.
We're not able in Key West to just replace people as easily as, say, a big city. Very limited people to pull from. And then you would have to train them. And that takes sometimes years.
But for Vincent, it's much more than that.
It's financially as well as emotionally. It takes a toll. You get to know these guys. You become their friends, just not an employer, but a friend. And you see what happens to their family. It's quite a shock.
Given his support for the president, we asked what he would tell the commander-in-chief if he had a chance.
What happened here? This situation is just totally, just blatantly not at all what they said it was.
Vincent, you voted for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
While he agrees with most of the president's policies, he thought the Trump administration was going to focus solely on deporting criminals.
Yeah, you know, something about Trump and Homan and Miller and all of them saying this will be the largest deportation program ever. Something about that didn't get through to him.
It seems immigration officials, he says, are just trying to meet quotas now.
Buyer's remorse? I don't know. A little bit.
How much damage does this create in your community?
It's not just happening to me. I mean, it's happening across the board. I know of one landscaper that lost 9 or 10 of the whole crew he had, and he's just totally out of business all of a sudden.
He wants his workers released and yearns for normalcy in his community and for the families of the men many argue were wrongfully.
All right, you get it, but he voted for it, right? So listen, this is tragic, but it's very revealing. The truth is that this was always the plan. Trump didn't really hide the agenda. The cruelty was the point of it. From day one, it was about making life unbearable for immigrants, whether they're here legally or not. We've been warning people. We've been telling people over and over again, businesses will suffer. And so when I hear Scardina say this isn't what I signed up for, the answer is it is what you signed up for. You didn't know that this is what you were signing up for. You thought the hammer was going to drop on somebody else. And this is like one of the big MAGA lies. You come to believe Trump's going to unleash chaos, but it's only going to affect other people. I'm going to stay safe, but it's now crashing through his business. It's crashing through his life, his friends, as he describes them. And this is only going to get worse. So do I have sympathy for the workers? Of course I do. They did nothing wrong. But for the boss who voted for this crap, thinking it was going to hurt other people, that's not buyer's remorse. That's accountability. And we now are realizing that the fears that this would be bad for businesses and this would be bad in so many different ways, it's all completely true. Now, I know that many of you are going to be out protesting this weekend at the No King's Day protests. That's phenomenal. I believe these protests are going to be absolutely massive. As Senator Brian Schatz told us yesterday, we need to self-police. And so we all know that if there's any looting, any violence, any fights, this is what the right-wing media is going to seize upon. I'm going to be at these protests tomorrow. Producer Pat said he would be, etc. We need to police the movement. What do we do about provocateurs from the right? that show up seeking to make it seem as though the left is doing this stuff. Well, we got to police that as well. Okay. So I am cautiously optimistic that these protests are going to be huge. They're going to make noise. They're going to be seen. I hope to run into some of you out there. And then, of course, on Monday, we will do a full debrief and analysis. But one of the things that's critical to understand is that the fascism is here. It's in a different form than you might have expected it, but the fascism is here. And I want to really dig into that contextually and historically after this short break. You say you'll learn a new language every year, but few of us actually follow through. That's why I always recommend Babbel. It's the app that finally made language learning stick for me. This year, I've got a trip to France planned. I've already started brushing up using Babbel's 10-minute lessons. The app is built around real-life conversations, not games or gimmicks. So I'm learning exactly what I actually need to know when I land. I've even been using Babbel's speech recognition technology to improve my pronunciation. Super helpful. Babbel is designed by over 200 language experts and proven studies from places like Yale and Michigan State. There's a study that found that using Babbel just 15 hours is like a full college semester of a language. They offer 14 languages and more than 16 million people have used it. They've got a 20-day money-back guarantee, so it is risk-free to try. Here's a special limited time deal for my audience. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for my audience at babbel.com/Pacman. Rules and restrictions may apply. The link is in the description.